Hello and welcome to Horror Boys. I'm Austin.
I'm Chris.
Isaiah.
Look at that. We all said our names. We're doing the intro. We're professionals. Gosh
Wow.
darn it.
We are.
I didn't change it up on
So
them this
clean.
time, so nothing went awry there.
This is my full-time job. That's
Oh.
how I make my money. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You're making money off this? How? What? Where?
And Isaiah's got a sponsorship with
That's
Wow.
right. Yeah.
Peeps.
I'm connected.
Well, just with like random whatever food he tells us before that he's cooking that day, he's actually sponsored by whatever he tells us. You know, last week it was
Yeah.
chili. This week it's rice. Tune in next week to find out what Isaiah is sponsored by next week.
And a rice.
Sponsored by All Chili.
all
chili.
Yeah. Not a brand.
Wolf's brand chili, just
No,
chili.
Just chili.
The chili conglomerate.
The concept
That
of
was
chili.
also real quick before we get into this. I'd like to thank Chili. Thank you for existing. All right.
I agree. I'm chili.
I do enjoy me some chili.
Not
You know what?
sponsored.
No, I mean,
Just want to thank it
but we could
for
be.
existing.
I'll sell out to Chili. The country,
You listening to Wolf's brand
that-
chili?
maybe
Yeah.
I pronounced the country wrong. Hey, Chile, you wanna sponsor us? We'll take the sponsorship. Chilean government.
The government of Chile.
We know they're big fans.
We know you're a big fan. You love our content. You're a big Jason head. We get it. We are enjoying covering Jason right now as well. But yeah, let's talk about Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter. That's right. Next week we're covering something different. We're covering Friday the 13th and
Part 5.
a new beginning. Huh.
Yeah.
Wait a sec. We'll get to that at the end of the video. But yeah, we open up with, what a surprise, a recap. But to give this movie credit, a relatively short and really well done recap of the first 3 movies. I actually really enjoyed this little intro recap, unlike last one, which me and Chris literally skipped because it was that bad.
Yeah. It's not just, raw, unedited footage of the last movie.
Yeah, for like 6 minutes. It's
7 minutes.
It's like 2 minutes, and it's like cut together through different parts. It's like campfire scene from the opening of
The second.
Yeah, not the opening,
Yeah.
but like middle of the beginning of the second movie. Yeah, and it's cutting to like different scenes from the other 3 movies, and it's like, all right, this is how if you have to do the catch me up intro, this is the way to do it. I respect
And
that.
it is kind of necessary for this one.
Yeah,
actually.
no, it is definitely. This one is definitely it is the culmination of a story that we didn't realize they were telling until this movie.
Maybe I have a feeling they didn't realize they were telling it.
No, they really
No.
But
didn't.
it worked. I did like this one.
Yes.
More than the last 2, I think.
I will save my
I think that's
opinions
the
on this
consensus.
for the opinions section at the end of this, guys. Gosh, just jumping the gun.
Opinions.
We do that at the end. We tell you, what was your thoughts? We have a format. This is episode 4.
You're not allowed to have opinions till the end, Isaiah.
No.
right,
The next we have is the first real scene, and it's a bunch of cops and like ambulance people, EMTs,
You know those ambulance people.
and they're at
Yeah,
the setting of the last movie, kind of cleaning up shop, looking for all the dead bodies and stuff, and Jason is still dead. Different,
Yep.
different way to start the movie. Jason's not roaming around; he's dead this time, and he's just. And then I think it's Lainey is the name of an EMT who is scared. She doesn't matter again, but she does get a name. Other characters who actually like get moments in story arcs don't. Some of them are not story arcs. There is a character that is just there's 2 characters that don't get names in this movie,
Yeah.
but she who doesn't matter and is only in this scene, she gets a name. Thank
Yeah.
you, Lainey the EMT. She is scared by dead Jason, which, fair. This is a serial killer who is believed to be dead multiple times. At this point, had killed like 9 or 10 people. I could see being scared.
Yeah. They load him onto the ambulance, and then the scene pans out for way too long, and then just
buddy.
lingers there, and nothing happens. There's no like extra. It's just the farm, and there it is.
For a
And
solid
then they finally decide to cut to the next scene.
Yeah, for a solid like 30 seconds. And it's not even like, because it's at night and like not lit at all. It's just a shot of the farm to pad out the runtime. Which, to be fair to this movie, is one of the only times I really felt like they were trying to pad out the runtime.
Yeah, I agree.
Like every other movie has had like multiple long scenes like this, where it's like, all right, cool, it's just a shot of nothing because they had to hit an hour and a half because that's the horror movie length. This one is relatively a tight story. I'll give him that.
Yeah, agree.
We cut there now to the hospital, and Jason's dead body is being brought up, and we meet Axel, who is a mortician, I assume.
Not to be confused with Axl Rose.
Not to be confused with Axl Rose, but his name is Axel. And our first character who does not get a name, we get Nurse. Who's
female nurse.
Yeah, female nurse who's
love interest of Axel.
Yeah. Kind of, but also she's love interest, but she also doesn't like that she's Axel's kind of a douche. And she wishes she didn't like Axel, but she definitely likes Axel.
There's some tension.
Yeah, there is definitely
between Axel and female nurse number 1.
Yes, female nurse, and she goes looking for Axel, and Axel scares her, and she just wants to watch the news, but he doesn't want to watch the news. He is a big fan of harmonica, and he wants her to play some harmonica with him.
Next to this dead body.
Yeah, next to the dead body.
Yeah, really great setting to play harmonica.
And he also
the deal is with Axel, like, Axel is weird, definitely the weirder of the two for wanting to play harmonica next to the dead body. But when she turns on the news and sees, like, that this noted killer has died and he's at the such and such morgue, she's like, oh, there we are. She's all excited about it. It's like, that's him right there. And they're like patting him on the body, congratulating his corpse for making it to their county morgue. It's a strange moment. And it is. I think immediately leaves them ripe for death.
Yeah. Axel also, for some reason, I just feel it needs to be said, because it's brought up multiple times throughout it, is really, like, into watching aerobics videos. Like, that's, like, and he keeps, like, no, we're watching this aerobics video, not the news.
He's gotta watch those 80s workout videos.
Yeah, he also watches 80s aerobics videos.
So hot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of close-up shots of butts.
There is a lot of butts in that scene. I lost track because we were talking about Axel and the butts. I didn't write down the aerobic scenes, so I have to find out where.
And then she gets scared by Jason's hand.
Yes,
when
Jason's
they're
hand
making out,
her.
and then she's like, "I'm going crazy," and then she.
Why am I doing this? She actually has a moment of like realization of how stupid she is.
I was about to play harmonica in front of a dead person.
Oh, this Axel
weird.
guy! I should do better than Axel. She storms off angry.
And do her job.
She goes and does inventory of a closet. That's what happens. We cut back to Axel, who's like, all right, fine, I'll just watch aerobics alone. Yeah. Which, unlike harmonica, isn't me saying some sort of euphemism for what he's doing. He's just watching this aerobics video, like eating French fries. Like, all right, yeah.
I think at some point he says, "Oh no," which very much confused me.
He did.
Because he's just sitting there watching aerobics alone. He's like, "Oh no."
You're right, you did.
Was there the plot of the aerobics wasn't good for you? Like, what's going on here? I don't understand. Anyways, then he gets murdered.
Yeah, he gets his head like sawed off and like spun around in like a really awesome graphic like death, which is a little bit of the theme of this movie. This movie steps up the death game. More brutal. They are way more brutal, and most of them are relatively creative to like the moment they're in. Like, he does a better. I feel like Jason, he's learning. He's ready to kill people in a more entertaining way. He understands
Growing as
watching
a serial
this.
killer.
Yeah. But yeah, so he like rips his head off. Basically, it's pretty cool. And then he goes and he just guts the nurse with his knife. At first, you're like, oh, okay, he's stabbing her. But then he drags it up like halfway up her stomach, and you're like, all right, Jason. We're stepping up the deaths now. That's the moment where I knew. The first one was like, oh wow, a cool death, and then that death where it's like he could have just stabbed her, but no, he gutted her, and I was like, all right, I see where we're going with this movie. You understand what I want.
Yeah.
It's just for Austin.
Yeah, it's just for me. Now we cut to Trish and another unnamed character, her mother. She's Mrs. Jarvis, but I don't believe she ever gets a name other than just Mrs. Jarvis.
She's Mrs. Jarvis.
Yeah. But I don't think she's never even actually referred to as Mrs. Jarvis. She's only ever referred to as like Mom.
Oh.
Hold on, Jarvis is their last name?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The last name is
Alright.
Jarvis.
So yeah.
Also, I'm realizing something that we'll mention again towards the end.
Yeah, we got Mom, Tommy, and Trish Jarvis here. We meet Mom and Trish. They're jogging because apparently they go jogging around the lake every day. That is mentioned like twice. It doesn't matter? No, but it's something. They go jogging. And then we cut to...
jogging.
We come back to the house, and we meet Tommy for the first time, and he's wearing a monster mask, and he's playing video games.
Apparently, something he does is make monster masks?
Yeah.
He's like crazy. Yeah. It was at this point that I thought, oh, finally, we're going to indulge in one of my favorite tropes, which is single mom.
Killing children?
Son.
Oh.
Yeah. But like The Ring, Case 39, I mean The Shining, The Babadook, Before I Wake, a billion movies are about single moms and their weird sons. And then he turns out to be like the most interesting 12-year-old in the world.
I haven't seen it yet, but who's the single mom in The Shining?
Well, she ends up being
mom.
a single mom.
Yeah, okay. But I would describe that movie as a...
Spoilers!
I mean, sure, I know how it ends. I know how he ends frozen and all that. I get that. But... Because I've watched the Simpsons episode. I know the story.
It's the same ball of wax.
It really is.
She's like...
But, yeah, I guess. I just feel like she's not a single mom for most of that movie. I would not describe her as a single mom character.
You have a point.
But that's irrelevant to this movie.
It is, yeah.
Because, let's be honest, they don't go into the mom story at all, really. We see her like 2 more times. She's not important.
We don't even see her death, yeah.
Yeah, we see her death happens off screen.
Spoiler!
It is spoiler.
That's what I was going to talk about later, and then I realized that we never see her.
She could still be out there.
Ever. She's like, you seen Mom yet? Nope.
Friday the 13th, 7, Return of Mrs. Jarvis.
Miss Jarvis returns.
He's the next Jason.
The Bride of Jason.
Bride of Jason. Alright, let's get back to the story. We're getting a little too off topic, just slightly. We cut to a car full of our kids for this. Our kids, I call them kids, but like the teenage they're not counselors though in this movie at all.
Nope,
just
they're
the
just teenagers.
The teenagers going to die for this movie.
Yeah,
they're in a car. For the most part, we're dealing with the 2 in the back of the car, who much later in the movie we find out are Teddy and Jim. But yeah, Jim, who's played by Crispin Glover, one of the bigger actors they got for this movie, at least later. I don't know if he's mattered yet. That's probably why he's
he
in
almost certainly wasn't, because he was a terrible actor in this movie.
I thought he was fine. I mean, he was a terrible dancer. Once again, we'll get to that.
Yeah, this was like preparation for Marty McFly's dad.
It is, yes. This is definitely preparation for that character, being a loser. But yeah, we have this conversation between Ted and Crispin Glover, and we find out from Ted, who for some reason knows this, or heard it, or is just messing with his friend just to be mean. We find out that good old Jimbo, he is very bad at playing harmonica, if you know what I mean.
Well, I think they're just having a conversation about why he's single.
I guess,
and
yeah.
Then he plugs it into his computer.
It's so stupid.
And he says, "You're a lousy harmonica player." I almost said the other thing.
You're a dead harmonica player.
Can't blow any air through that harmonica, I tell you what.
Right.
Yeah. They have that conversation for probably too long, and then they arrive.
Way too long. Okay, I was giving the movie credit earlier, but I forgot about this scene. This scene was the point where they tried to pad out the movie a little too long. This scene went on for a solid minute longer than it should have, just to explain that apparently, according to Ted, Jim isn't good at the harmonica. Which, I guess I feel like you'll figure it out later, I guess, when we get more into the description of what that is. Because if you are a first-time listener, you might not get the harmonica joke, but but you should be able to figure it out in context a little bit later if you haven't yet. But where were we? They passed by Mrs. Voorhees' grave. There's a really long, lingering shot in the grave. Does that matter again? not really. I guess they're just establishing, hey, look.
They're near the area.
Voorhees, remember her?
Yeah. One of them seems to be especially uncomfortable around the grave, and I don't think it's ever made clear that any of them are aware of the story.
Yeah.
Am I forgetting?
I don't think so.
Or like,
I don't think so either.
maybe it's just
You would think.
They could feel the aura. They could feel the spookiness.
Oh, also, is this Sunday the 16th?
No, this is a little bit... Oh, I guess it probably is, actually.
Well,
This is the, No! This movie takes place over
probably be closer to, like, Monday the 17th.
I feel like this movie actually might take place over a couple days.
yeah.
This movie actually has a little bit... None of them are Friday the 13th.
That's a good... Yeah, dude, yeah, actually.
Yeah, it's like Sunday, like, the 16th is when we see Jason for the first time. And there's definitely at least a point later where a kid goes to sleep. So therefore we know that at least one day passes extra. So there's at least like 2 to 3 days, I'd say, in this movie.
The weekend and weekdays of
the
Friday
Sunday
the
through
13th.
Tuesday
Friday.
of the 13th week. You know? Well, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, they
Which is quite
randomly
sketchy.
pass a hippie girl who's eating a banana, who's literally just here so we can get another death. Like, this character doesn't matter. This character has no... She's just a hippie girl who, while eating a banana, gets stabbed through the throat, and we watch, like, her squeeze out the banana while dying. Like, it was cool, but it was pointless. Like, they could have wrote that death for, like, a character that mattered, not just... we have this idea for this banana death. I guess write in another character so they could die.
I really want this shot of someone squeezing a banana really hard as they die.
For real though, like it's so pointless. But here's the thing: I'm fine with these movies being pointless. I feel like that's kind of what they're there for.
Where they excel.
Yeah. And then we meet Gordon the dog. Gotta love dogs. Dogs are great. My note here is Gordon is the dog girlfriend ? Because Tommy asks him, like, oh, you've been out with your girlfriend? And that's really that whole scene is just kind of that we find out that's.
Gordon actually, now that you bring him up, is like the second loose end, right? After...
I guess.
Because Gordon jumps...
Inside of a window.
I think...
from a window.
I took that as Gordon jumping out the window. So I think Gordon's just out living his Gordon life.
I hope that Gordon escaped.
Gordon's finally finds his girlfriend.
Yeah, he goes hangs out with his girlfriend. But yeah,
he's got backups. Yeah, he's got a place to live.
Around this point, the new crop of kids show up, and Trish and Tommy, they meet them. Their first interaction with them, one of their only 2 interactions with them, the main group of kids who are just kind of... It's kind of 2 stories that are just kind of disconnected, both dealing with Jason.
Yes.
Yeah, they didn't really.
Now you bring that up.
They didn't. I really did like this movie. Spoiler for the ending part where we talk about how we feel about the movie, but I will say critically here, they did a horrible job connecting the 2, and building up Trish for her important role that we will find out later in this movie, because they kind of don't deal with her for the first half of the movie.
Yeah, spoilers, Trish is the final girl.
Yeah, she is the final girl.
And we get barely any time with her on the actual screen itself. It's focused on, the kids who are going to get murdered.
Yeah, the kids who are just there to die, pretty much. Yeah.
Lots of character development for them, just so we can see them murdered.
A lot of... I'd say the character who had the most character development is Jim. Does it matter? No, he still dies like the rest of them. But... But yeah, so, now we meet, we go upstairs and we're having Sarah and Sam are just, they're talking, having a little chit-chatty moment, talking about who's going to sleep where, who's sleeping in what room with who.
And who's going to sleep with who.
Yeah, who's going to play the harmonica.
Who's going to play the harmonica in the same room together. Woo!
Right, yeah, that's pretty much that whole scene. Nothing else really matters in it. We kind of find out that Sam is kind of... She plays harmonica with a lot of boys. She has a reputation for that.
I mean, she has a reputation for it, but she only plays harmonica with Paul, actually.
Yeah, it is weird. She has the reputation for it, but then also Paul
Rumors abound.
But also Paul is definitely more the loose boy.
Yeah, he's got loose lips for the harmonica.
Yeah.
And here, like, did y'all think that Sarah might have been the final girl? Was that just on me for missing cues with
I feel
Trish,
like they
or-
wanted you to think that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was the red herring.
Yeah,
for sure.
I will say, as someone who knew the plot of this movie, I knew she wasn't. But I can definitely see why you thought that, and I think that was on purpose. I think they wanted you to go, well, she's actually important to the plot. It's probably her.
Yeah, and she had that same kind of, I don't know, naive.
Yeah. There is a
Reluctance
point, though,
about
where
the-
I feel like you should realize she's not, and that's when she does the thing that no final girl's allowed to do, which is play harmonica.
Play the harmonic, yeah.
Yeah.
Naturally. Yeah.
Now, after that, Tommy is watching Sam change across the room and is just flipping around in his bed in excitement.
He's chimping out on this bed.
He is really chipping out. He bangs his head into the pillow a few times.
So
And then his
excited.
mom
like-
enters the room.
I don't know.
Then he hears his door opening, so he just pretends to be asleep. His mom looks across, sees it happening, he's like, ah, my kid, and like closes the window.
Yeah, that does happen.
She's cool with it. She's like, boys will be boys. They'll stare across.
Boys will be perverts.
I think that might be like the one arena where this movie didn't improve on the previous two, which is like with dialogue and scenes like this, it's like the writers just skipped childhood entirely. And they're trying to like cobble together an understanding of how kids and teenagers think from like secondhand
From the other
accounts of
three,
it or something,
the
yeah.
other three movies. They're like, this is how they act, right?
Yeah.
This is how they
It's
work.
like this is the conversations they have. This
Yeah.
is what children do. Yeah.
I think that's fair. I feel like that's fair. Yeah.
I'd say so.
Then we have Jim, who's sorry. I wrote down here that we find out his name is Jim. My bad. We have the whole crew, the gang. They meet up with some twins who, spoiler alert, we only ever learn one of their names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is Tina and other twin.
And other one. And other Tina.
Yeah. And at this point, Sarah walks off alone, and we go, oh no, she's gonna die. But no, she's just scared by a log, and that's it for that scene. That's literally all that scene is there for, is to build tension for nothing. And then we cut back to the gang and the twins, and well, it's a Friday the 13th movie, so we need an excuse to get a lot of characters naked. So they're going skinny dipping, and everyone is skinny dipping. Everyone but Sarah, because Sarah must have had hopes to be a better actress at some point and was not willing to bear all, and she does not throughout the whole movie, which is fair. Like, I've just a thought I had is like, oh, she doesn't. She does get. We'll find out more about her, but that's not the point. What am I saying? Tommy and Trish. They walk up on them, and Trish is like, "No, you can't stay, Tommy. You little pervert. Let's go."
Yeah.
He's definitely like, "Oh, can't we just like stay?"
No, Tommy. You can't.
He has a little reference about while they're driving off.
You're
He's like, "Oh, they're
like 2 years old."
patooties."
Just say the word patooties. There's something about the twin patooties.
Yeah. And Trish has the classic horror movie moment where her car breaks down.
Get sick.
Yeah,
And
car
then we
sick.
see Jason's feet.
Maybe. But,
But then
real quick
it's
before we get
not
to that,
Jason's feet.
1 second before we get to that.
Oh.
She does nothing to help and says, "Tommy, go fix the car," basically, and sends
Yeah,
like the
the 8-year-old
9-year-old kid go like, "Go fix the car, Tommy." I mean, to be fair, he knew what he was doing, but it still felt like she wasn't really even helping.
Yeah, he just like sprang into action on this car.
Yeah.
Fixing classic cars,
Yeah.
making horror movie masks.
He's
Yeah.
what
This is an excellent
that's
child.
what every kid does.
Yeah, duh. Every kid is an expert with cars.
This
and
shows
also
why you're
makes
wrong,
prosthetic
Isaiah.
masks.
This shows why you're wrong, Isaiah. They know how kids act. Look
You're
at
right.
Tommy.
Yeah.
Oh, I did
Little
miss
Jim Henson.
I did miss a scene earlier at some point. I don't remember exactly when it happened. At some point, Mom Jarvis tells Tommy that he needs a haircut.
Mom Jarvis.
Just saying, that was a little bit of foreshadowing. We didn't know it at the time, but she does mention how he needs a haircut.
Oh, yeah.
Just thought I'd bring that up here because it might be relevant later.
It is relevant later.
It is. It's relevant later. Let's try to start rolling through this so we can get to that. We actually now cut back to the skinny dipping people, and Sam is just reading her book. Doesn't want to go skinny dipping because
Sarah's reading her book.
You're right. Sarah is. Both their names are S names. It's hard to remember. Yeah. Sarah's reading her book, and Sam scares her and pulls her into the water. And then we cut back to where we think Jason is walking up, but no, it's Rob Dyer, because he makes sure to say his whole name, because I guess we're supposed to remember that he's related to a different character that I don't know if they ever said her full name.
Yeah.
We'll get to that a little bit later, but there's definitely a point where I feel like they are trying, when he comes in like, I'm Rob Dyer, it felt like, that's weird that he made the emphasis on his last name. I guess that matters.
It's very much like, Rob.
Yeah, Dyer. Did I mention my name's Dyer?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, Rob Dyer.
I said,
a great name for him.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. He does die.
Yep. He helps Tommy fix the car, and they give him a ride back up because he's just not hitchhiking, just hiking around, not just going out camping. Doesn't have
with a gun.
Yeah, with a gun. Yeah. Don't know why yet.
He does say that he's, out hunting bears.
That's true. He is out hunting a bear. And then when they get back to the Jarvis's house, Tommy is like, I need to show you my room. And he pulled him up to his room. And, good for Rob. He's like letting the kid be happy. He's just like, all right, yeah, fine. I guess I'm going upstairs. Yeah. Okay. And, Tommy shows him all his cool little stuff. He's got a little puppet that he shows him. He's really excited about that one. He shows him all his monster masks. It's a cool little moment. Because that's really it. There's nothing else. There's nothing that happens. It's another scene that doesn't matter other than I guess we're building up a care for Tommy, which is fair because Tommy is kind of important to the story in this movie. But yeah,
and we know that he likes disguise.
He does. Yes, he likes horror masks and stuff, and he needs a haircut.
Yes.
We cut back to Jim dancing. Buddy, is it some of the worst dancing I've ever seen?
Yeah, this is Elaine Seinfeld level dancing. I gotta say, eliciting a similar reaction from the onlookers.
Yeah, he's dancing.
He's meant to be a bad dancer.
I'm trying to figure out which twin this is at this point. He's dancing with an unnamed twin. At this point, this is unnamed twin. And then we have Paul and Sam. Paul decides he wants to change the music to some slow dancing music. So him and Sam, they start dancing. And at this point, Teddy tries to get with Tina, but Tina rejects him. Tina is the other twin, who's not unnamed twin, if you're confused. But yeah, she rejects him. Poor Teddy. Because when in doubt, if your name's Ted or Ned or Teddy, you're a loser.
I didn't even... Dude.
To be fair, Teddy isn't exactly like that character. He's a different loser character. They kind of changed it up a little bit. He's kind of a mixture between like that character and like just the creepy guy from the second movie.
Oh, Slingshot guy.
Yeah, Slingshot guy. Like he's kind of a combination between the two of those characters.
Yeah.
But
bit similar
he's kind
roles,
of just kind of a creepy loser rather than like a jokester, really. But he has a little bit of jokester vibes. He does. He gets really weird later with his choice and what he wants them all to watch.
He is good humored.
Yeah,
He's
also way less. He is also way less annoying than Teddy or Nettie.
It depends on the part of the movie.
That's fair. You know what? That's fair. I will stand corrected. At this point, Jim, right? Mm-hmm. It's Jim. I wrote Tim. Jim and other twin, they start slow dancing. And at this point, Trish is talking to Rob. I don't think this is where we find out his backstory quite yet. They're just kind of having a chat, I think. It might be. I think I wrote down when he tells her his backstory.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's in his tent later.
Yeah, that's later. Okay. So I think it's just kind of one of those scenes that's kind of just there to extend this movie. I don't think that anything happened in the scene, but for some reason I felt the need to write it down. But I don't remember at all what happened. So we're gonna move right along.
I'm pretty sure she's like telling him like goodbye, and then
and doesn't she also like bring up her parents' divorce randomly? Yeah. She's kind of like, yeah, my parents got divorced. I kind of hope they still get back, or maybe separated because she's hoping they get back together. Does that matter to the plot? No, but do they feel the need to put it there? Yes, they do. I guess I don't know. That scene was weird to me. Now we cut back to the twins, who at this point we find out one of their names is Tina, are really awkwardly and not the way you're supposed to shotgunning some beers.
Yeah. What is the proper form?
Well, you crack open the side, you put a key in it, and then you drink out of the keyhole while the other side, the air is venting out of that. But that's not the point.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, instead of they puncture the bottom and then just like
pour it on themselves?
And then pour it onto their mouths from like a half a foot away.
A little bit more theatrical.
I guess. It was weird.
And it's a contest of some kind, or
it was because shotgunning. To be fair to them, they did. The writers who also don't remember what being in college or that era was for them, do know that the idea of shotgunning beers is a race. They understand that element of it. They just don't know how it works. Like there's a key, a beer, and a race involved. I guess this is how you do it.
Mash them together.
Yeah.
Somehow. Yeah.
Like to be fair to them, all the components were there, just not exactly the right way.
It's like a kid who had never been to a college party took a guess at how you did all the stuff at college party and was like, yeah, that's close enough.
That sounds accurate. Tina wins, and at this point she wants to know what her prize is, and she starts kind of flirting with Paul, and this really upsets Sam because they're like a couple. Why is he hitting on Tina right now? But
any effort to resist whatsoever.
None. And none at all. He's like, all right, I guess I'm going to be with Tina. It's like, okay. What about Sam?
Right, Paul.
Okay, Paul, fine. Sam leaves. She bounces.
Goes skinny dipping. Again.
Yeah, she
goes.
At
At night.
Well, we're not there yet. Well, we're not
in
there
the winter of New Jersey.
We'll get to her skinny dipping for no reason in the winter in New Jersey. Also, I think, to be fair to the story, it's supposed to be the summer.
That's a good point.
It is like June or July. I don't remember which it is. It's like June. It's a J month, June or July, like 17th or 16th or whatever at this point. But yeah, she gets mad. She leaves, and Ted goes over to talk. Or Teddy's angry that now Tina's not talking to him because he wanted to be with Tina. He's mad. And Jim comes over and starts talking to him. He's like, I'm just a loser who can't play harmonica. Why are you complaining? Basically, it's like, okay, all right, cool. This is a big part of his character arc. Apparently, is that he sucks at playing harmonica. Derp. Poor Jim. Then we cut out to Sam, who's just like, to be fair, she did say, I'm gonna go swimming to Paul because it's too crowded in here. So she goes swimming. And she gets naked again because in a movie like this you can't go swimming in a bathing suit, and even if you do, you take it off in the middle of swimming like the twins did earlier.
That's right.
Yeah.
When you're a girl and you go swimming in these movies, you go swimming naked because that's what you do in New Jersey.
Yeah, apparently.
Can you confirm, Austin?
I've never actually went swimming in New Jersey, so no, I cannot confirm.
Okay.
I have only driven through New Jersey, and it smells like literal crap. There's literally the moment when you cross over from Pennsylvania into New Jersey, there is like just a hit of like sulfur. I think it's one of the factories or something, but it literally smells like crap the second you go into New Jersey. That is my thoughts on New Jersey. If you're from New Jersey, move.
Nothing like skinny dipping in poop water.
Pretty much.
They're all probably nose blind to it. That's
yeah,
fine.
they probably are. She goes skinny dipping, and she swims out to a random raft boat thing that's just there in the water. She just gets in it and waits for Paul. And she thinks she hears Paul, but it's not Paul. It's Jason. And he stabs her through the boat, through her back. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Back to his old watery ways.
Yeah, he's going for a little swim. doing a real good job treading water with a machete and then having enough force to stab it through her while treading water. It's honestly really impressive if you think about it.
Yeah, he's really
Jason improves, dude.
Jason's a freak of nature.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about the whole he should be dead from the last movie. I'm talking about his athleticism.
He's Olympic.
Yeah, he stabs her. Little fun fact about that movie, this was shot, I believe, in like February. I believe in New Jersey. And she is freezing her butt off during this scene. They like I watched a documentary about it, and they talked about how she's just freezing practically to death while they're trying to get this shot. Just fun little fact. It was shot and it was actually really, really cold. Poor girl. She's dead now though. But around this point, Paul goes, maybe I shouldn't sleep with you, Tina. I do have a girlfriend. I'm gonna go find her. And he leaves her. And he goes to find Sam. And that's where we stop right there. So he goes to find Sam. We don't see him move, not yet. Then we have Tina, who decides, all right, can't be with him anymore. I guess I'll just move on to the third guy at the party. Because I didn't like Teddy because he's a jerk. And Paul wants to be with his girlfriend. So I guess I'll go talk to Jim.
Paul wants to be faithful now. Ooh.
Yeah, I need to play harmonica, so I gotta go talk to Jim now. Yeah, so she goes over. She starts talking to Jim, and I'm lost my place. And she just goes straight up. They start dancing for a little bit, and she's just like, hey, let's go play harmonica. And they go off to play harmonica. She tells him to meet her upstairs. And
They break the bed.
They do break the bed.
They do.
And at this point, actually, we're not quite at the bread breaking. That's actually like a couple scenes down. But they do break the bed. They have not broken the bread yet. They have not broken the bread to share the bread together and eat it.
Communion.
Yeah. No, not at all.
There has, however, been plenty of blood spilled.
At this point, though, the other twin goes, I guess I'll settle for Ted. Jim left.
Sort of.
At this point, she's like, I'll go sit and talk to Ted, see if I can let Ted win me over. And she's sitting with a teddy bear. He makes a crappy line about how you should give teddy bear a kiss. And now we cut, finally, to Paul seeing Sam out there and goes like, I gotta go swim to her now. And he finds a dead Sam, and he gets scared, swims back, and gets a harpoon right in the crotch from Jason.
Just hoisted up.
Right.
Dude, yeah. It just gigged like a frog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just hoisting.
Is that what you do to frogs? Yeah. Right through the crotch? Like, oh, that's brutal, man. Aim straight for
Usually that opportunity doesn't present itself.
Oh, okay.
I guess you could.
Then we have a scene where it seems like Rob has heard this, and I'm still not sure if he actually did or not, but he gets like alerted to something. He hops up and he grabs his machete and he walks off a little bit, turns around, sees Jason in his tent, runs back to go kill Jason, but somehow in the span of 20 seconds, Jason has gone into his tent, broken his guns, and left before he was able to get there.
Yeah, so that's pretty impressive.
Because Jason can just teleport when he wants to, and the plot needs him to. Which, you know what?
Yeah, and
that's
the
fair.
barrel is, like, bent.
Yeah. Is it? I remember seeing it, like, broken in half.
He, like, broke, like, the stock of the gun in half, and at the end, the barrel is just, like, bent.
Yeah. It was crazy. At this point, Tina and Jim break the bed. And that's pretty much that whole scene. Is they're starting to get ready to play harmonica, and they break the bed. Then we cut back downstairs, and Teddy's really excited because he found a old nudie movie, and he's gonna play it.
Yeah,
it's
he's like, come on, guys, you never guessed what I found! Whoa, boom!
Bunch of naked ladies dancing in weird costumes.
Yeah, very offensive costumes.
Yeah,
I think the implication has got to be that he's high right now.
Maybe.
We see him smoking conspicuously
we
a lot.
We do see him later,
this,
especially later, getting a lot more hot, acting like he's high. But it still felt random that he was like, oh my gosh, everyone's got to watch this random old nudie movie I found. It's like,
Yeah.
really?
He was overamused.
He was very excited about this. But,
yeah, he sure was.
And around this point, the other twin realizes she has no desire to be near him. She goes to try to get her sister to leave, and she doesn't want to because she's in the middle of playing harmonica. She tells her, don't forget her umbrella. And gosh darn it, other twin did forget her umbrella. And for that, Jason stabs her off screen.
And then very promptly...
And then almost immediately...
stabs her into the house.
Back onto screen. He's like, no, you get up. They get to see your dead body. But yeah.
And for that.
Then we have Doug and Sarah are having a conversation about how they want to play some harmonica too. They make some harmonic plans. Sarah goes upstairs to get ready. We cut back to the other house, and we have Mrs. Jarvis, who's just angry with Tommy, and we don't really know why. She's just like, oh, Tommy, you're going to be in trouble when I get dried off.
She says, when I dry off, I'm going to strangle you.
Oh, okay, I missed that line. Okay, that's worse.
Which is confusing, because, like, why?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, because we don't explain that he did anything wrong yet. She didn't say, oh, I found... She's just mad at Tommy for some reason. Apparently he did something off screen that's never explained. And her lights...
looked through the window again.
Yeah, and her lights are out, so she goes looking for Gordon randomly. She's like, oh, Gordon? Because I guess Gordon's going to help her turn the lights back on?
Yeah, he's really good with electricity.
Yeah.
And she walks outside looking for Gordon, and instead she finds something. And we never see her again. Does she die off screen? Maybe.
Maybe.
We literally never know. Is it implied Jason killed her? Sure.
Probably.
But normally when there's an implied death off screen, we at least see the body later.
Yeah, which we do not.
That's
for this one.
So she might be alive somewhere.
Forever.
She is Jason.
That's it, yeah.
She is Jason. That is the end of the story there. Then we have Tommy and Trish. They come home and they can't find their mom. And Trish says, all right, I'm going to go try to find her. And she goes to Rob's tent and is then scared by Rob, who, like, rather than... I mean, I guess it's fair. He wonders if it's Jason again, just straight up tries to machete the tent.
When it's raining. He's fixing to sleep right there.
Yeah, and he's like, no, someone's in there. I have to kill him. It could be Jason. Which it could have been, and that's fair. He did know Jason was around, but... And I believe it's around this point we find out his connection... No, we don't. Yeah. It's later. It's later. I have it written down. I found it. I glanced down. It's a little bit later. We'll find out why he's important later. Why that dire name is so important. It's not. But...
Yeah, because she's like, oh, you scared me. And he's like, why the heck are you here? And then it cuts, right?
Yeah, then it cuts away. We cut to Jim and Tina post-harmonica. And he's very awkwardly like, hey, like, how's my musical talent? And she's like, you're great.
Was I a dead harmonica player?
Yeah. And she's like, no, you're incredible.
You're a savant.
And they also discuss, hey, maybe we should play another song. And then we cut away from them. And Jim goes downstairs, talks to Teddy or Nettie. Which one is it?
Teddy.
It's Teddy.
Is it Teddy?
He always says, you want to kiss my teddy bear?
It is Teddy. Yeah, Teddy. He goes, talks to Teddy a little bit, tells her, like, hey, sniff her underwear, bro. Told you I'm not bad. It's like, you're a creep now. You've gone from being like a sympathetic character who like built up his confidence to being like, hey, bro, smell these. It's like, all right. It just leaves them with him.
Well, he never explicitly says that. Yeah, he just gives him her underwear.
But also, like, how is he gonna? Like, he doesn't get a chance to. We're about to talk about how he dies, but how is he gonna explain how he took her underwear to her later?
You know, my friend gave it to me.
I mean, it's...
I took your underwear. I gave it to Teddy. He needed something, you know. But it doesn't matter because he's about to die. He goes looking for the corkscrew. He's yelling, "Where's the corkscrew, Teddy?" And then he gets it right in the hand. And it's awesome and it's bloody. And he also gets a machete in the face just because I guess, to be fair, the corkscrew in the hand is not going to kill him. And Jason wanted to make sure he died. So he gets like a double cool bloody death. He gets a cool bloody hand and then a bloody death. It's pretty cool.
Cool death.
Yeah. Like a lot of the deaths in this movie, they've really stepped up their death game. I really chef's kiss. Then we have now, nope. And then we somehow go. We cut upstairs to Tina, and she's just
Tina
like,
in the room.
Yeah, Tina's in the room, like waiting for him. And then out of nowhere, somehow on the second floor, mere moments after being on the bottom floor, Jason pulls her out the window on the second floor and just throws her onto a car. She falls. She's dead because it's a far fall, pulled through a window. But yeah, jeez. I don't know how. Yeah. This is the point where he has started to get very mystical in his, like, teleportation ability he now has. Like, he is getting places that there is no way for him to get to. And I'm fine with it. I don't think his character needs to be believable in any way. It's Jason. But it's out of nowhere in a little bit. Like, the last movie, he was still kind of only doing believable getting from one place to the other. This movie, he's just like, I went from downstairs to upstairs. And guess what? Teddy didn't even notice yet, because it's not his time to die yet.
Yeah, mystical is the right word for it. Yeah.
He's got super speed.
And teleportation, and it's just, he's his own person. He's his own weird, unbelievable thing now. Now we have Rob. He's tells Trish why he's here. He's not here to hunt a bear. He's here to hunt Jason, because he's Sandra's brother. The Sandra Dyer, who never, I believe, had a last name when we saw her before. In our lore, at least, I would say Sandra's very important, because it is her and Jeff who play harmonica for the first time ever and establish the harmonica trope for us.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the actual plots of these movies, she's just a random girl who happened to die. Like,
yeah.
Which, like, that's fair. Her brother could want revenge. Also, actually, this is something I remember hearing about someone pointing out as a problem before that I just remembered. She died 2 days ago.
Yes.
She died on Friday the 13th. It is now maybe Monday or maybe Tuesday at the latest. And he is ready to come find her, kill her already. Because, to be fair to the creators, that was years ago. But according to the story they're telling, that was within a week, and he's ready to go kill Jason.
I mean, in fairness, it's been on the news.
That's fair.
It's not like they don't know that there's a killer on the loose.
That's true. That's fair. It still feels like a little bit of a...
And it wouldn't take that long to be like, alright, I'm going to go get a gun, and I'm going to go to the woods and find this guy.
How did he get
Passion
there?
is still hot.
How did he get there?
He doesn't have a car. In the area and has a car.
They didn't, though. They all drove in.
It's New Jersey. It's
and
not
their car got towed by Ned.
Again, it's New Jersey. It's not that big of a state.
We don't know if they're all from New Jersey.
It's implied they're all from New Jersey.
Yeah, that's fair. They all are from New Jersey. They all smell like crap.
Yeah. Rob included, especially since he's, a backpacker.
He is a backpacker. He does not shower. But if he wanted to, he could shower at Trish and Tommy's house. Where were we?
He doesn't, though.
No, he doesn't. He never showers.
Yeah, spoiler.
Now we go to Sarah and Doug, and they are in the shower.
Oh, yeah.
This is... Dude,
I wish that was timing, though. Like, we just talked about him not showering, and then it's immediately but Sarah and Doug do shower.
It's a great shower scene.
It is a shower scene.
They are showering.
Doug never talks more than in the shower in the whole movie.
This is kind of what I was talking about earlier, though. Even in this scene, which is fair, like, she doesn't need to show herself, but even in this scene, she never lets the camera see any of her nudity. There's implied...
That's a good point.
Yeah, she is like, I am an actress who will not... I want to do more after this. I don't know if she does. I don't recognize her. She could have done some work, but she is like, no, I am not doing nudity in this movie. And, good for her. She has more decency than the rest of this cast. Does it matter? No, she's still going to die like the rest of them.
Right.
They're showering, and then we cut downstairs to Teddy, who gets stabbed in the back of the head through the screen after, presumably the way it's shot, because the way he's freaking out, looking at the, not freaking out, but he's like, hey, whoa. Jason, stopped the film from going and then got behind it before he could see him?
Yeah, or the film ran out.
It could be that the film ran
It is
out.
implied that it's Jason that did it.
He was implied that he thought someone did it at least. Could it have been running out? For sure. But, and he's high right now, so maybe he just is getting paranoid when it was just the movie end, like the film running out. But with the other random weird Jason getting from one place to the other, maybe it was teleportation. He turned it off and then got behind the screen to stab him because he likes to stab people in innovative ways.
He's really changing the game and stabbing.
He is like, I want to make sure everyone remembers how I killed these people. And then I will clean up all the bodies and all the deaths, but then hide them somewhere else to find them again later. Which this movie is, I think, maybe the most egregious of that, but we will get to that a little bit later because it happens in the plot.
He is really big on taunting people with bodies in ways that shouldn't make sense.
Now Sarah, she decides to leave Doug in the shower. She's like, I'll meet you at the bottom bunk so we can play some harmonica. And she leaves. And while she's gone, Doug, he gets his face like squished against the shower wall after Jason punches through the glass. And it was once again another pretty cool death scene. This movie, there's not really any deaths that I feel like underwhelmed really. Like I feel like maybe I think the most underwhelming death. I mean, I guess the most underwhelming death would be Mrs. Jarvis.
Well, yeah.
Well,
if it occurred,
she died at all. But you'll never know if she did.
Excluding hers because we don't know if she's dead. I would go with maybe Sam's death. Like it was an innovative shot, like in the water, like actually shot in the water. It's like, but it was just kind of another person getting stabbed from beneath, like they've done in tons of other a couple different times now. Yeah. And it was not as well done as the Kevin Bacon death from movie 1. Like it was the same idea, but not as well done. So I guess that'd be the most underwhelming. But then personally knowing about how she was like literally almost freezing to death while they were shooting that like in the water for real, it kind of adds to it. So like I don't personally feel like any of the deaths really underwhelmed, except for maybe Mrs. Jarvis because maybe she's dead.
Yeah. I think I agree with that something.
This point, Sarah, she goes and she finds Doug's dead body, and she runs away and is scared and is yelling for Sam. And Jason is now back outside.
Yep.
And he throws an axe through the door into her chest. It's pretty cool. But also, once again, how is he getting everywhere? I think he definitely must have teleportation powers at this point in this movie because it is crazy some of the stuff he does in this movie.
And he has all these implements. Like he's got the harpoon gun and the machete and the axe. And he finds the corkscrew.
Don't know where he's getting all this stuff. Yeah, like it's like okay, he just got all this new stuff.
Yeah.
At this point, we have Trish and Rob, they reunite with Tommy. They're back at the Jarvis household, and they're trying to make a phone call. But Jason, he is a very smart 8-year-old at this point, and he pulls the phone line and just like, nah, you're not calling. I know where the phone line is. I know how to stop that, because he also knows more in this movie than he should know. Like some of the way he comes up with things. Like I'm fine with it. Once again, like. Here's the thing. I'm being critical because it's a podcast, but realistically, I don't care. It was fun, but it's like some of it's like when you really like sit down and go, but wait, how? It does. Some of it does fall apart a little bit.
Why does this boy who drowned as an 8-year-old know how to take down a phone line?
Yeah.
I don't know if I trust this.
Curious. At this point, they tell Tommy to stay there, and they split up. Wait. Nope, I jumped down a little bit. Yes, Trish. Yeah, sorry, I was right. Trish and Rob, they leave Tommy here for some reason. They go, "You stay here. He just cut our phone lines. Our mom disappeared from here, we think. But you stay here alone, kid.
Just lock the doors.
Just lock the doors. Then you'll be fine." They run off. They go back to the other cabin. Jason follows them, and but they once again go, "We should split up. We should go different ways." Rob goes downstairs. And Trish stays on like the ground floor, and then Gordon also had met up with them as they were going into the building randomly. They were like, "Hey, Gordon's back."
Yeah.
Gordon hangs out with
from out of nowhere.
And Gordon runs up the stairs, and Trish's like, "What are you doing, Gordon?" And then he jumps gets scared by we don't know what, and jumps out the window and is never seen again.
Yeah.
He could have been thrown out, but he did look like he was jumping. That could be just because that was the only way to make a dog get thrown out a window was tell him to jump through it. But I think he was just escaping, like, nah, forget this. There's a monster here. I can tell. I'm Gordon.
He sensed it.
Because he did kind of sense Rob showing up earlier as well. When they were...
That's a good point, yeah.
So maybe Gordon is a very smart dog. And he leaves. And she then goes to go find Rob. She goes down to the basement where he's at. Oh, wait, sorry. No, right before that, we do cut back to Tommy, who does find a picture of kid Jason. And that is
all of Rob's.
Yeah, Rob's like news clippings about Jason stuff. That he also got all those news clippings ready to go in like 3 days. Ready. I'm saying. I think it's a little bit of a timeline issue. But yeah. So Tommy finds that, and he's staring at that picture. Now we cut back to Trish, and she finds Doug's dead body. Does she? Yeah, she does. I guess she did. Yeah, she finds his dead body, who's now no longer in the tub, but just nailed to the wall, because Jason went, I should move this. I should redecorate a little bit.
Yeah.
Because when someone finds this, I think it'll be cool. Well, see, the thing is, I can't leave it over there because the one girl, she already found him in the shower. So I have to, in case someone else finds this body, I have to move it.
But he does this in every movie.
He does, and it's just like, this movie, you'll find out in a little bit, I feel like is a little more egregious than some of the other movies with the way he moves bodies.
You mean like the door crucifixion?
Yeah, we were going to get to that. But first we have to talk about Trish. She goes to find Rob. She goes down to the basement, and Rob yells, "He's killing me!" As Jason bashes him in with a wrench. But he yells it like 3 or 4 times, like not dying really as fast as he probably should have.
Or retaliating.
Yeah, or retaliating, just overacting. He's killing me! Run away, Trish! Run away!
He's killing me! Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's bad. At this point, Jason grabs Trish's leg and she cuts his arm to escape. And at this point, like, so much stuff happens in like 10 seconds that I had to actually literally pause the movie to take notes. I don't do that. Like, I write notes as I go along, but I was like, Chris, I have to pause. There's too much that just happened in the next 10 seconds. Which is, Trish finds Tina's dead body outside, then runs back inside and goes to the back door and finds Jimbo, as you mentioned, crucified across the back door, like, nailed into the door frame. Like, it's just like, what is Jason doing in this movie?
Yeah, like with railroad spikes.
Yeah.
Who knows where he got those from.
Yeah, he just has railroad spikes now. And yeah, she eventually, I said, all right, I'm leaving now. So I guess must go. No, she jumps through a window, right?
Yeah, she crashes that chair through the window.
No, oh, you're right. She crashed through the window. Yes, okay, that's what happens here.
Yeah, because they do cat and mouse.
That's later. She jumps through 2 windows. This point, she uses his weakness, the door, and breaks the.
That's right.
Jumps through the window, goes back home, tells Tommy, "We got go get me nails and a hammer. We gotta, nail the door shut." And let me go.
Rob's body comes flying through the door or the window.
You're skipping the point where she also goes, "Let me lock these. These tiny little window locks will stop this monster from coming in." Yeah, right. And then
they're huge bay windows.
These giant bay windows.
Mostly glass bay window.
Dude.
Yeah, and now we have Rob come just crashing through it with a hammer through his head. So apparently at some point Jason switches from the wrench to a hammer to get the final killing blow, because, to be fair, the wrench wasn't working. He was just yelling, "He's killing me!" for way too long. So,
yeah.
But yeah, he comes crashing through, and they freak out. Tommy gets grabbed through the window by Jason, and for some reason, like actually a couple times they're about to happen, Jason, because this character is not supposed to die, Jason does his classic Jason thing of, "Oh, you're not supposed to die? Cool, I'll take way too long to kill you."
he loses some of
trying to pull you through the window for forever, while she just comes and starts hammering him in the head before realizing it's not working and taking the backside of the hammer and running that right through his neck, the spike right into his neck. That gets him to let go of Tommy. Her and Tommy, they run upstairs to hide. They hide in Tommy's room. It doesn't help, really. They're just kind of in there. He eventually pushes everything down, breaks his way through the door, and she picks up one of those old CRTVs and just crashes it over his head and knocks him out.
Fries him.
Yeah, fries him, knocks him out. He falls down. She's like, all right, cool, he's gone. I'm going to get him out of the house now. You run, Tommy. Make sure you leave. You run away once I get him out. But then, of course, he's not dead because he's Jason. And she inches, rather than trying to run away, she inches around him very slowly. He tries to axe her real quick. She dodges it because, once again, she's not supposed to die. So she has an insane amount of reflexes that most people probably wouldn't have in that moment. But yeah, I did skip one scene that was really funny earlier. Right after he pulled the hammer out of his head, and before they ran upstairs, he throws the hammer into the wall, and it doesn't go in, like Chris pointed out, it doesn't go in either like the hammer or the claw side. It goes in like all the way in, just long ways.
On straight.
Yeah. And that is also after he bashes his way through the door that she nailed shut and just shattered it into a million pieces. I forgot to write notes about that, but that was a really cool scene. So I just want to give, that was the way he just busted that door was a really cool effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he tries to get her. She runs away. This is that point where they start playing cat and mouse. She's running away a little bit, trying to cut him with a machete. There is one right in the beginning of this. There's this really cool scene where she walks through the door, and then he walks through the door, and it's like one of the most beautiful shots I've seen in one of these movies. The way it's framed with like him in the light, like it's like I was like, wow, that's some really good cinematography for this Friday the 13th 4 randomly in the like end half, like the last part of it. There's like one really cool shot. And
remind me, what room is this in?
This is like the kitchen. Like right as they come through the back door of the kitchen. He's just kind of standing ominously in the like the moonlight's hitting him just right. It's like a really cool shot.
Yeah.
And then
that is a cool shot.
Then they start playing cat and mouse. He's chasing her. She's trying to cut him with a machete. He's just kind of juking because he's Jason, and he's like, nah, you ain't gonna kill me. At this point, she realizes she has to get away, so she just dives through the second-story window.
Whoa. You forgot to mention that while Jason's juking the machete, he just puts his hand out and catches the machete.
I did not forget, because that happens at her house later.
Is that really not? Oh, that's right. She chucks the machete through the window.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she jumps through the window with it, and they run out. Yeah, no. So she jumps through the window, falls she falls onto the awning, and then a full story down into some mud, and apparently that's enough to make her not hurt at all. Just gets up like it's nothing.
It knocks the wind out of her for sure. She's sitting there for a few seconds.
She does sit there for probably way too long, because it is like mud that she falls in.
Yeah.
Soft, wet mud.
All right, Chris, we're going to throw you out of a one-story window onto some soft mud, and then you're going to get right up. No! She got up too quickly, not too slowly.
Hold on. We've got to start keeping track of all the stunts that we come up with that we need to record for this show. This is like the second one.
I don't even remember what the last one was.
Just going to be
Yeah.
Our own jackass.
Oh, I remember what it was. No, I remember what it was. Chris is going to be hung from his feet and has to try to climb himself back up.
That's right, yeah.
Hung from a tree on his
feet. Become Steve-O.
Yeah. Apparently, at some point in a live event, we're going to be just throwing Chris off things, hanging him upside down, because Chris is a delusional idiot who thinks he can do way more than a normal human can. I'll be honest.
I'm saying soft mud is soft mud, you know.
No!
She lays there for quite some time being chased by a serial killer. I don't know. The adrenaline flowing.
Too quickly. Unrealistically quickly. But that's not the point. She does get up. Jason, I guess he just kind of stares at her after she falls, like, ah, cool, I killed her. But then once she moves, he's like, all right, cool, I gotta go, and he runs away.
Oh, I gotta go kill her.
Yeah, like, all right, oops, we're still going, and he starts like, because he's definitely just staring at her, and then like, oh, we're running, okay, cool, you got up. You're like me. Somehow you can take falls that you shouldn't be able to. And she runs back to the house, and she's really mad that Tommy didn't leave. She's like, "You were supposed to leave."
Yeah.
And he then goes upstairs, and at this point she has the fight with him where she cuts him in the hand, and the really cool shot, and it starts bleeding, and it's really well done. Because it's Tom Savini, and Tom Savini is an artist at horror makeup and blood and stuff. That's why he was in that Fangoria magazine from the last movie.
He earned that front page.
Yeah. We cut upstairs after that. Tom. Oh, sorry. Wait. Where were we?
Texas.
Apparently Tommy already cut his hair. My bad. Sorry. We skipped that. That was happening while the cat and mouse stuff was happening. Tommy was watching.
It's like a montage.
Yeah, Tommy was watching and cutting his hair.
Back and forth.
I thought that hadn't happened yet because she's mad at Tommy's there, but she hasn't seen Tommy yet. She's just yelling. She hears Tommy upstairs, and she's like, "Why didn't you leave?" She cuts his hand. He's, once again, tries to kill her for way too long. Just struggling on the ground with a little girl, relatively speaking.
Well, he got his hand almost cut in half, Austin.
He's Jason. I'm sorry. I still don't think
cut your hand in half and see if you can strangle somebody.
I'm not Jason! That's
another
different.
stunt.
No!
We'll try it out.
No!
Mythbusters.
What are you doing? What are you doing in all of this, Isaiah? Nothing.
I'm coming up with content.
Yeah, the difference is Isaiah's not stupid enough to say any of these things.
Yeah.
I think them.
Yeah, he lets us say it out loud for him.
That's fair. All right. At this point, Tommy comes down the stairs to try to distract Jason, and because he's pretending to be Jason, which it's kind of a take on when in the second movie where I think it's Alice who pretends to be Mrs. Voorhees' mom, which makes sense that could confuse Jason. In this movie, though, Jason goes, "Oh, that's me," for some reason.
It's me.
Like, I'm sorry.
Little.
Like the other one makes sense. This one doesn't. Like,
you think the other one makes more sense?
Yeah.
She just tosses on the sweater and puts her hair back, and that does it.
He hasn't seen his mom.
I think it makes more sense that
I think it's more believable that Jason. Jason sees a blonde woman in his mom's sweater and goes, "Is that my mom?" Than him seeing a little boy who looks like him and going, "Is that me?"
Is that me?
Yeah, no, I think.
Am I that boy?
Yeah, no, I think that makes less sense.
I don't know if he's fooled into thinking that the boy is him. That might just be he's recalling what he used to be.
Yeah, okay. Fine.
A robbed childhood.
Maybe.
That's my own theory.
That's definitely plausible.
With the mom, I think that's more probable because it seems improbable to me to get fooled into that woman being his mom.
Oh, I still think that's more believable.
No.
I think that's more believable.
All right.
But I'm willing to accept your belief on what he's happening in this one, that it wasn't him thinking it was him. That's fine. I still think him mistaking her made more sense. Either way, it was weird. But it works.
Yes.
It works. It distracts him long enough for good old Trish to grab the machete and not get the job done and hit his mask off, and that's it. Drop the machete in fear, walk back. Really should have died here. At this point, Tommy just should have been the final girl, but he wasn't. She gets to live, but Tommy does take the machete and just skewer him through the head practically. He goes through the side of it, but then once he falls, it slips and
Yeah, and it slices into his head halfway through his brain.
Yeah.
This is a great death.
It is.
Pretty brutal.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
But
a well-deserved brutal death for Jason.
But he's not dead. He's still moving. But unlike any other character in the franchise history up to this point, Tommy goes, I'm killing this dude. And he just starts hacking the crap out of him.
Double tap, triple tap, quadruple tap.
I am making sure you are dead. You killed my mom. You tried to kill my sister.
Whoa,
you ruined
he
my
only
house.
made his mom disappear, Austin.
For all I know, Gordon's dead. I haven't seen him yet either. All I have left is my sister. I'm killing you.
Dude, he does. Yeah.
Yeah,
he does not screw around.
He's yelling "die" as he does it. It's a really well done acting from little Corey Feldman here, which we didn't mention. Yeah, this is Corey Feldman, who is definitely probably the biggest star out of this movie. Sorry, Crispin Glover. To be fair, maybe Crispin Glover was a bigger star in like the late '80s, early '90s. I don't know. I know Corey Feldman more than I know Crispin Glover, but either way. Yeah, at this point, and then we cut back to Trish, and she's at the hospital, and she's being talked to by a doctor and a cop, and, she's very, freaked out by the fact that she just witnessed her brother murder someone. I mean, he's a murderer, but, to be fair, he did kind of murder him in a relatively vicious way. I can understand being a little like, is he going to be okay? He just, snapped. And they're like, nah, he's fine. It happens in these kind of situations. She's like, okay. Can I see him? We get a very similar shot to when Jason was standing in the doorway earlier, of Tommy standing in the doorway, ominously. I feel like that is this movie that likes to draw out shots a little longer than some of them deserve. I feel like that shot wasn't drawn out long enough. He should have stood in the doorway slightly longer, and then ran to hug her. Because I feel like that moment they were trying to be like, oh look, is he also like Jason? Ah, no, cool, he's just hugging her. But he isn't, because he mean mugs the camera to end the movie.
Mean mugs.
He does. He goes.
Yeah.
And that's where the movie ends.
And we will start with Chris. I mean, you've already kind of given it away, but generally speaking, how did you feel about this one?
Yeah, I liked it. It's probably the best in the franchise next to the first one.
Fair.
Definitely is the best sequel for the franchise so far. Really ties together the whole story that they're trying to weave.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, of course, as we've been saying throughout the entire podcast, the kills were the most brutal so far.
Mm-hmm.
And really felt impactful.
Yeah. Isaiah, your thoughts?
I agree pretty wholeheartedly with all of that, like ranking it in that position, and with the kills, definitely, that I've started paying a little bit more attention to since doing this podcast, actually.
You're welcome.
But there was this one scene that actually made me laugh when it happened.
That's fair.
Yeah, well, so it's in the part where they go down into the basement.
Okay.
And, she narrowly escapes after the Jason Hunter gets killed by Jason.
Yeah.
And I
believe the
there's a scene.
He's killing me.
Yeah, there's a scene juxtaposed to that where we're seeing the stairs.
Yeah.
And but then after that, immediately we are back at the house with Tommy, who is portrayed at the top of the stairs. And for a split second, I think is Tommy the one that just chopped that door down, or it just. The frame just makes him seem like all of a sudden he's the killer, and it made me laugh. Just that's kind of a dumb thing to do, and I wonder if it was purposeful.
I feel like it was. I didn't notice that, but some of those other shots where they recreated him in the doorway scene at the hospital and stuff. I think they wanted to tease that.
Yeah,
and
I think
the movie also.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say also the movie had the foreshadowing earlier with he needed a haircut. His mom told him in the first scene we see him this. I will say. I think just real quick, the first movie I think is better. But I think this movie has a better director. I don't know who directed either one, but decisions they made to make some of the points, the fact that they had that foreshadowing there, the fact that you talk about this foreshadowing on the stairs, that I would be surprised if it wasn't intentional with a lot of the other decisions they made. They really stepped up the game in that aspect. They knew the story they wanted to tell, I think, better than any of the other movies have. So I'm agreeing that I think that what you saw had to have been on purpose, or we're giving them more credit than they deserve, and this is all an accident, which is possible. There have been movies like that where we talked about in the first one how the subversion of the final girl with Annie at the beginning. It's they just killed a random girl at the beginning, and we thought, oh, subversion, or it wasn't supposed to be. We could be giving them way more credit than they deserve.
Dude, yeah. I mean, I joked earlier at the beginning of this whole podcast about it, like I don't necessarily know that they did know where they were going, mainly with relation to the other movies, because with the last one, it was setting up something like almost supernatural with Jason's mom, who we know beyond a shadow of a doubt is dead, and but like somebody that didn't even know who she was had a vision of being attacked by her in the lake, and so I thought, okay, she's got to play a part in number 4. She didn't, but I mean, I guess the last thing I would say is that I'm a big fan of movies that frustrate interpretation, and they're saying something with the presentation of all the masks, and I don't know what it is, and I like that I don't quite understand what they're trying to say. Like you said, the possibility remains that neither do they, but I'm gonna err on the side of that's meant to provoke thought in some way. And like something about, I don't know, Jason's mask is more comforting than his actual face. And Tommy's regular appearance, he has to like change his actual self in order to look like Jason instead of just putting on a mask. So it's kind of the opposite. I don't know what they're trying to say. I don't know, but they want us to pay attention to it, I think.
No, yeah.
And I like that that's kind of mystifying. So, but I agree with Chris about like, I think the first one was nonetheless better. This was a good story, though.
Yeah. I've kind of said my thoughts throughout this whole thing, but just, I agree. I think this is probably the number 2 best. There are moments that I feel like make it, like, I think, due to historical context and probably general movie they made, the first movie, despite itself, really, was a great movie. Like, they didn't deserve to make as good of a movie as they did. The acting wasn't great. The, like, budget they had was atrocious, but they made a really good movie that, like, has stood the test of time. Like, but this movie, I feel like, in so many ways, it upped the right things for what this should be. Like, that first movie's a better movie. But this movie, I think, I'm going to make the bold statement, I think this is my favorite so far. Because in all the right ways, it upped the right things. There's more titillation, there's more violence. It's just, it's more fun. Like, is the other one a better movie? Yeah, for sure. But is this more fun? And that's kind of what I want from horror movies, is fun, like, especially a slasher movie, is I want fun, like, crazy kills. The first movie, to be fair, it was the first movie, didn't have a lot of fun, crazy kills. This movie was like, how do we kill this person? I don't know. Maybe they're holding a banana. Maybe they have a saw. Like, and it's just like every other kill was different. Like, they found a way to make every kill different, which I thought was really cool. I liked it. The more I'm thinking about this movie too, like the symbolism of like Tommy's character and the foreshadowing they had, like the masks, I think were at the very least supposed to make us go, does he have some sort of connection to the mask-wearing villain we have in this movie? Yeah. Already we were supposed to think that? And I knew how this story ended. And I didn't even really pick up on those connections there about how, like, Tommy's also obsessed with masks. Like, could that be something? I didn't even think about that there. But, like, and then there's, like, the foreshadowing of, like, the haircut, and then, like, there's the stair scene that I didn't even notice watching through, but, like, them, like, having him juxtaposed to Jason being on the stair, like, that, him standing in the doorway and Jason standing in the doorway ominously, like, they did, like, I love this movie. Like, that's just really what it comes down. Like, this movie was fun. I really enjoyed it. It had its flaws, because of course it did. Every, like, 80s horror movie is gonna have some level of flaws. I mean, we might be proven, that statement might be proven wrong as we watch more horror movies from different, like, fine. But every horror movie has some sort of flaw, and this one definitely has its flaws. The kind of unexplained Jason supernatural bit that they kind of just threw in without really any justification or really earning, it shouldn't have happened probably, but I don't care because it meant he could go from killing someone downstairs to killing someone upstairs in one scene, and it was cool. Did it make sense? No! So is it a better movie? No. Is it my favorite so far? Yes. Here's the thing. Will the next one beat it? From what I've heard, probably not. So next week, we're watching Part 5, A New Beginning. Friday the 13th, Part 5. I didn't say Friday. But we're continuing the Friday the 13th franchise, obviously. I've been Austin, Chris, Isaiah. We're all here. Bye-bye!
Bye-bye.